Okay, listen here. So this is going to be the question discussion, okay, which is very relevant to the pre-board exam question paper. Actually, in section B, question number 5, okay, they used to give you the sentence like voices, change into other voice, okay. So for in our board, we have a reported speech, okay, tenses, subject verb agreements, models and determiners, okay. But this part comes in a general grammar, that's it. Okay, so we can expect in general grammar they can ask you even the voices even. So we have to practice the same. But most probably, okay, in this sentence you should remember one thing there. The voices, particularly we should learn something about the voices, okay. So hereby we came to know about it. The voices means the most important relation between the subject and then the verb, okay. Particularly you should know that what is mean by the subject. Subject means we know that who is the subject, my dear? A doer of an action, okay, doer of an action. And then verb means with the help of verb definitely we will find out the tenses, okay. So next to that, in subject and verb means next to that you should remember even the object also you should find out there, because we will interchange the subject and then the object. We will interchange the subject and then the object, okay. So very first we should know what is active, what is passive. So active means there you should remember it, the subject performs the action. What it is, my dear? The subject performs the action. Action means you should remember it. There you can get it only from the main verb, okay. Main verb means what? For example, you can remember it, okay, like he kicks the ball. Which is the main action, my dear? Kicks, okay. He performed well, perform, okay. I wrote a letter, wrote. He is listening the class, okay. So the action means we know that either it may be a verb 0 form or verb s form, either it may be a past form like verb ed or a verb plus ing, okay. It may be in any of the forms, okay. So here we have given a very simple sentence like any more, okay. The sentence is actually the subject in the sentence. You can already we have discussed what is subject means, the doer of the action, okay. So the action, here we have action like chased. So this action we have to remember it. Who's the doer of the action in the sentence means obviously we will find out that who is the doer of the action in the sentence, my dear? The cat, okay. And the next to that, after the verb you should remember it, the mouse here, okay, which means there you should remember it, which is considered as a object, okay. So when the question was given, you should find out, particularly we are discussing about active to passive, but in the question number 5 they have given passive to active, okay. So very first we should remember, okay, how to transmit the active to passive sentences, okay. Then only it will be very easy for you to understand that. Then we can easily change the sentence from passive to even to the active sentences, okay. So hereby the very simple statement, when the question was given, you should find out what is subject and then what is action, which means a verb, and then what is the object, okay. With the help of the actions only we are going to find out the tenses. For example, chased is a what kind of tense, my dear? This is verb. There we have a word, you know, verb ed means there we have, what are they? Verb 2 and then verb 3, which means there you should remember it, past form, and then this is going to be the past participle, right? This is going to be the participle, okay. So you should remember it when the question was given, okay. When the question was given, you should remember with the help of the verb only we are going to find out the tenses. Already we know that in reported speech we are doing the same, right? Say yes or no, okay. But what is here it is, okay, when we are going to change the active to passive, particularly we should write the main verb only in the what, my dear? Past participle, like rhymes, the sentence has been registered in your mind, okay. Like for example, I wrote a letter in active means in passive you will know that, right? It has been remembered, it has been registered in your mind that, okay, a letter was written, okay. In active sentence actually they have given in the verb 2 form. What it is, my dear? Wrote, right? Say yes or no, okay? What is the past participle for wrote, my dear? Written, that's what, okay? So not only in simple sentences, even in continuous, even in perfect, there we have to follow only that, particularly not only in assertive, even in imperative sentence also you should remember it, we have to use only the past participle form. Next to that, the passive voice. Actually, when you are going to change the passive voice, you should remember it, the subject actually it will be replaced in the place of receiving the action, okay? So we have to interchange that. The previous sentence we know that the mouse is there in as the object, and then the cat actually was there in as the subject, okay? So how we have interchanged that? Very simple, that when you have a question, there we changed the object into subject. Object means in the question, what is the object in the question, my dear? The previous slide, the mouse, okay? So we change the object into subject. Next to that, according to the subject, you should write the auxiliary, okay? Auxiliary verb. There you should find out that either it is a singular or plural, okay? That you have to remember there. The given object you have changed it, okay? You have to find out either it is a singular or plural. According to that, you should write the auxiliary. Since the mouse is a singular form, so we have written the singular auxiliary. And then in the verb form, we know that already we have discussed, like, okay, in a verb forms like a past participle, we have a word like regular verbs and then the irregular verbs, okay? Complete, completed in past form, past participle, completed only, regular form. Irregular verb only, just now we have discussed, right? Write, wrote, written, come, came, come, take, took, taken. Do you understand? So there we have a regular and then the irregular verbs. Regular verbs means there is no issue at all, we can write the same, okay? And the next to that, you should write the main verb. That should be in a verb 3 form. That should be in a verb 3 form. Verb 3 form means just now we have discussed past participle. Next to that main verb, you should write the preposition. What it is, my dear? By. We should write the main verb. What it is? By. And the next to that, we should change the subject into a object. Subject into a object. That's it, okay? So that's what the previous question is, okay? The cat chased the mouse. That we have to change it. The mouse was chased by the cat. Actually, what happened means here in the exam, question number 5, what they have given there means, actually they have given the passive form like the mouse was chased. That's it. This is actually question they have given. And then in a heading they have given like question number 5, change into other voice. They have not even mentioned that either it is active or passive. Simply they have given that change into other voice. So you should remember that how we have to find out this is a passive form, okay? Because if they have given the doer of the action, which means if they have mentioned the doer of the action means definitely there we can get the, what it is, my dear, the preposition by, right? Say yes or no. But they have not given any doer of the action. Then how we should find out that it is belongs to passive sentence, my dear? Only with the help of the auxiliary, and then there you should remember it, this is belongs to a past participle. Do you understand? And the next most important thing, the doer of the action is missing there. Okay, only the receiver of the action alone is here, the mouse. But who's the doer of the action? It's missing there, right? Okay. So that's what the only clue we can get it, that this is belongs to a passive voices. Okay. And then most probably on the last classes we have discussed, passive form means you should remember two different things. What are they, my dear? First one, yes, very good. What is this? Personal, and then second one, impersonal. Very simple. So if they have mentioned the doer of the action means in passive form, it will be considered as a personal. For example, same question, this answer, the mouse was chased by the cat. Actually, whether it is a personal or impersonal? Personal. But the question what they have given there in exam, the mouse was chased. Whether it is a personal or impersonal, my dear? Impersonal voice. Okay. So there you have to remember it. When we are going to change the sentence into active, you should add the doer of the action actually. Okay, do you understand? You should imagine by your own. The mouse was chased by whom? Okay, that should be your question. Do you understand? When it is a generalized one, okay, you can write any subject which is relevant to it. Do you understand? Okay, but if they have given specific sentence like what we have discussed in the last class, okay, like the tablets were prescribed, which means definitely the prescribed means definitely it must be a doctor, right? Okay, so even though they have given the tablets were prescribed, that's it. We want to change it into active means you should remember it. The doer of the action is missing, which means it comes under a passive form. It's not a personal sentence, it is a impersonal sentence, that you have to remember it. Okay, then the doer of the action is specific, right? You should write the specific doer of the action. Okay, when it is generalized like anything means like the mouse was chased means definitely it may be chased by a person or by a cat. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so we can give a generalized subject like doer of the action. So this should be in your mind. Okay, so most probably they won't give you like active to passive, which will be very easy. Even the 8th standard children that can write it, but that too you should know it. Most probably there is a chance that they will give you the passive form and then they will ask you to change into active. Okay, and then now on the day we have discussed, right, personal and then the impersonal. Here we have a definition. See that in personal voices, okay, in personal voices, the writer's personality and the opinions are evident in the writing. Okay, the writer's personality means like their presence will be there. Like the presence means the doer will be there. And then even it may be like a opinion. Okay, for example, they can make the sentence I wish, I thought, I think. Do you understand? The doer of the action may be before the reporting verb like anymore. I thought, I think. Do you understand what I mean? He says, okay. Like that the sentence will be there. So here the first person pronouns like I, me, we, us. Okay. So you should change that. You should remember it. Okay. So this should be your short definition and example for your personal. This was the question actually they have given in the exam. Okay, question number 5. Actually they have given this sentence alone. They have not given the rest of the doer of the action. Okay, the trespassers will be prosecuted. Okay, simply they have given that. So we should change that actually. We have to know about it. This question, the trespassers will be prosecuted means you should remember it. Actually the doer of the action was not there. Okay, only the receiver of the action alone is here. Yes, of course, it comes under a voices, particularly a passive voice, and then you should remember either it is a personal or impersonal. Okay, so there, see the definition for the impersonal. In impersonal voice, the writer tries to present information objectively. Okay, just objectively. In last reading skill, okay, in B and D section, they have given one reading question like fact and objective. Okay, opinion and subjective. See the difference there. Okay, there we want to write it. Okay, fact means definitely it must be a objective or subjective, my dear. What is the difference between fact and opinion? Fact means what it is, that is a proven statement. Opinion means it's, yes, which may vary in the sense means it may be like a idea or else the way they heard, okay, something very different, right? Okay, they may not able to prove that actually that definitely it happened or not. This is going to be there. Same way, subjective and objective means, take that as homework. After a break, I will ask you. Okay, search that. The meaning for subjective and then objective. Remember here. So listen. Yes, get into it. So without the personal biases, like, okay, definitely they may not given anything like, okay, the doer of the action may not be there, which was considered as a personal bias. Okay, in often, listen ma, in often they use the third person pronouns in a sentence like he, she, it, they, to avoid using the first person pronouns. Like a third person means here they will write it. He will be prosecuted. He will be means by whom he was prosecuted. Do you understand? Okay, they will use the third person like he, she, it, they, but they have not given any personal information like who may be the doer of the action. Okay, do you understand? Okay, so this is going to be something very different. that you have to learn from this. Okay, so this was the short sum up of the voices, particularly the way they have raised the question in that previous exam. Okay, question number 5. Okay, which means when the voices was given, particularly generalized question is there, change into other voices means you should find out with the help of the question itself, you should find out either it is active or passive. Active means definitely the doer of the action will be there in a very first of the sentence. Like in this sentence we have a word, the cat chased. Who is the doer of the action? The cat. But in passive form we can find out that the doer of the action may be in the last, or else the receiver of the action will be first. That's what you have to remember. In active, doer of the action will be first. In passive, you should remember that the receiver of the action will be there. And the next most importantly, the verb will be in a past participle. Do you understand? For example, like, okay, here we have the personal voices. Okay, personal means in passive voice, they used to give you the doer of the action. But impersonal means same sentence will be there, but they may not give you any doer of the action, simply the receiver of the action. Next to that, you should remember sometimes they can give you the third persons. Okay, so like that. And the next most important thing here, just few questions like same like impersonal voices. For example, the question, just you remember, the problems can be solved. Can you remember this? Either it is active or passive, my dear. Passive. Either it is active or passive form. Why we should consider this as a passive form, my dear? Because what is missing there? The doer of the action. Okay, doer of the action means here you should raise a question with the help of the verb. Who solved it? Okay, what solved means for that we have a question. That's what we consider as the object. Receiver of the action is there, but the doer of the action was missing, right? Say yes or no, my dear. So definitely it is going to be that when the sentence starts with the receiver of the action means definitely you should remember it. This is going to be the passive form. Okay, this will be the passive form. And the next to that, in passive we have two different categories. What are they? Personal and impersonal. This question actually, whether it is a personal or impersonal means we know. Okay, which means they have not mentioned any other personal information like doer of the action. Okay, and the next to that it can be confirmed with the help of a word. What it is, my dear? Be and then past participle. Okay, so here the doer of the action may be whether it is a specifically we want to write anything or it is a generalized one. Generalized. Do you understand? So what can be the active sentence, my dear? Either you can take the subject like I, or else you can take the subject like my father or my teacher. Do you understand? Okay, or my friend. Okay, so here whatever it may be the subject, it can be like a generalized one. So what may be the answer, my dear? My father. Here they have given can be. There we want to write it can, and then solve or solved, my dear. Yes, in active sentence we are not supposed to write solved. There we want to write it what it is? Solve. Yeah, what it is? Solve the problems. That's it. Okay, so this is going to be your understanding like anymore. Okay, shall I give you a few more questions? Okay, write it. Second questions. That's it. The exam was announced. N number of places we have read this, we have heard that. Say yes or no, my dear. The exam was announced. What sort of sentence this is actually? Active or passive? In passive form, either it is a personal or impersonal. Impersonal, right? Who may be the doer of the action? Either it is a generalized one or specific. Generalized. The exam was announced, right? The exam was announced. Yes, particular. Even though it can be like a generalized one, means we are not supposed to like generalized means here we have a word. Even it may be like a doer of the action may be myself, I. Even I can represent my father, even I can represent my teacher, even I can represent my friend. But here I am not supposed to have such a freedom. There we have a specific. Okay, definitely who may be the doer of the action, my dear? Okay, the concern board only, right? Say yes or no, concern board. Okay, yes, write the answer for this. Last class we have discussed, when the question was given, very first you should find out the what it is, my dear, kinds of, yeah, what it is, kinds of sentences. Next to that you should find out the what it is, tenses, right? Here we have what is the sentence, what is the verb there? Was announced. What should of verb it is? What should of tense it is? It is going to be the, yeah, what it is, simple. Yes, go ahead. Write the answer. Yes, what is the answer, my dear? What may be the doer of the action? The principal announced the exam. Okay. Was announced or announced? Announced, right? Particularly remember there in, listen ma, in simple present, yes, listen, first row, in simple present and simple past alone, only in these two tenses alone, you have, particularly in active sentence, okay, particularly in active sentence, you should write either auxiliary or main verb. Do you understand? In passive only you will be getting both auxiliary and then the main verb. Do you understand? Okay. So here we have to write it. The board announced the exam. The principal announced the exam. Do you understand? Okay. Whether it is easy or not? Easy, right? Okay. But when the question comes without knowing this means, definitely we will skip that. Particularly compared to reported speech, this will be very easy like anymore, because in reported speech we should change the reporting verb. Next to that, conjunction. Next to the conjunction, pronoun. Next to the pronoun, tenses. Next to the tenses, distance word, right? All 5 set of rules we have to change it. But there we are not supposed to do it. We should change the subject into object, object into subject. According to the subject or object, we should write the auxiliaries. That's it, okay? This is going to be very, very easy, okay? Yes, that's it.